All right, Peter's going to see, we have dropped in numbers from yesterday, and we can't work out whether that's because there are more people outside or people have with lag has finally hit them or whatever, but I will start. There's a very brief introduction here with myself and Peter, and again, some of this is just a reminder of things that many of you have seen before. So what we're going to do, what Peter is going to do in a moment, is announce the fact that we are open for driver projects, and we're going to step you through again what that means, and it's going to be an open process. So that, and then we have two really great keynotes, both about being global, though one of them is actually extremely local to here, Torsten, and then the other, Nikki, from South Africa. Then we will be taking a view from the patient. The next thing is that realizing that GA4GH is not the only standards body in this very big space. And so we're going to be talking about really our neighboring standards bodies that do, for example, electronic health records or the ISO group. Around that. And then finally, we end with a plenary presentation from a number of national initiatives and hearing the progress that they have made in both themselves and their data sharing expectations. So just to remind you about how we think about GA4GH, we have these horizontal work streams. The horizontal work streams are the way new technical standards are created, and each work stream has two work stream leads that organize that area. So Thomas Keane and Oliver Hoffman do large-scale genomics, and they organize the next version of VCF, for example, is compressed VCF. It's on their ticket to solve out. But to keep these guys grounded and to give them engineers, to provide engineers to actually do the work and build implementations and test them and discuss them and everything else, we have a series of what we might think of as vertical driver projects, and these are concrete projects in genomics. They are deliberately heterogeneous. They span from basic research through to translational implementation, and they keep us grounded. You don't have to be a member of a driver project to participate. Many people participate without being a driver project, so do not feel it's a requirement at all. But what driver projects do is it ensures that the standards that we make are concrete. So this is the current list of driver projects, and as I say, they span from very basic biology driver projects, such as the Human Cell Atlas, through clinical and ENA, EGA, through to clinical research, such as Argo and TopMed, wherever TopMed is, over here, and going into closer to implementations, such as into healthcare systems, such as Australian Genomics, Genomics England, and the Elixir Beacons component has a strong multinational aspect across Europe. We want to add to this a big driver is geographical spread. We know there are some very, very good projects around the world that we don't tap into, and so it will be very useful for us to have a broader spread of projects, and that's coming up at the moment. So this is our driver projects colored on a map, where we've actually colored the Elixir beacons that are active on a map. That gives us a bit more blue here. And you can see that's kind of healthy, but there's a lot of gray on that map. And we really need to change that map to have more, to make the G in GA4GH, that first G, be a real capital G and a G with meaning. Just flashing up here, contrast to that driver projects, these are the places that we believe have a medical genome project, so a project inside of their healthcare system in some way to deliver genomics to their citizens in the context of healthcare. If you are a country that is grey here and you don't think you should be grey, and I've just had an email yesterday from Sweden, please tell us and we will inform the correct people to update this map. And just to add to that, we're also keeping track of national cohorts of a substantial size, and so there are a number of countries that also have these national cohorts. So with that, I'll hand over to Peter for him to describe the driver project process.
So just before I get into this slide, I will go back to and point out that bottom row on the bottom is international. What we've tended to do is, if it's shown in a country highlighted, it's where there's a national initiative or it's something for the country. But there is that bottom row, which is actually really critical, because they may be based in the US or based in the UK, but they've actually got international participation. So we probably could do light blue in many countries. We were trying to make the point we need in-country, in-depth communication and connection. So moving forward, these are the criteria we'll be looking for in selecting the next round of driver projects. And as Ewan said, you do not have to be a driver project. There are many people in the room who have already said to me, I don't think we could be a driver, but we want to be a collaborative project. We want to be a fast follower. We want to adopt. So there are many ways to participate other than being a driver project. But if you're going for that role, then here are the criteria. We'll be looking primarily for things that increase global representation. And that could be, I'm saying projects located in a country, not just expanding our international reach from current bases, but actually looking for in-depth country representation. Particularly, though, if it is a country-level initiative, we're also looking for people with the willingness and the openness to share that data internationally. So the key for us is expand the geographic scope and work with people who are interested in sharing their data internationally. The second major criteria will be scientific merit. And in there, the actual quality of the science and the project, the importance of it. But we're also looking for things that will expand our reach in terms of the areas we cover. We've been very heavily focused in the beginning on cancer and rare disease, a little bit of an expansion in this current round of driver projects, but projects that increase both our geographic reach and our scientific reach, our healthcare reach, will be well received. And then the third piece, and it's difficult to overstate this, is the capacity to contribute. So being a driver project is kind of getting in the car, helping navigate, putting your hands on the wheel, and really committing resources. It's not cash. We're not asking for cash, but we're saying you need to make a commitment to help shape the deliverables, contribute resources into the ongoing development of them, and then be willing to adopt where they're coming through. And that sense of it's not a trivial commitment. It probably equates to an FTE or more. Could be 4 people spread over 4 different things. But it's a serious commitment of time, energy, to being a driver project. And that actually creates the fuel. So when we look at that matrix, there are almost 700 people involved in that matrix. And we might call them volunteers, but they're very, very active contributors because their driver project or their institution said, we want you in here and we want you working actively on it. So that 3 things, global representation, scientific merit, and a capacity to contribute. And we're going to take questions and answers, and I'll ask Ewan to come back up for that. So there's the major criteria. I don't think we can take in another 15. My guess is that we could onboard another 5. None of the current crew or cohort have said they want to step back. They've not graduated from Global Alliance yet. So they want to work with us for at least another year or more, the current 15. So we'll be adding in, and we can probably add in 5 or 6 without diluting our efforts or spreading ourselves too thin. Here's the application process, where the applications are open as of today. And there was application phase will close at the end of this month. And then we'll go through an evaluation period. The criteria, we'll do the first screening as a secretariat. We've appointed and been grateful to get some very good external reviewers, and that committee will go through they'll see all of them, but we will have put them in some form of triage against those original criteria we just showed you. We will have calls with applicants if needed to clarify any areas where we think we've got huge potential, but we may not be 100% accurate. And then we'll take that to our executive committee, which is Ewan, Heidi, Catherine, and myself. The intent is to get them approved by January, and then to start announcing them and onboarding them as of February of next year. Our next internal working meeting of the Global Alliance will be in April of next year, and the idea will be to have these new driver projects fully part of the community when we get into that meeting. And for those of you who are interested in becoming a driver project and taking that step of really active participation, and you think you meet those criteria, we would love to see strong applications from as many people as can put this effort together. And the application process is on our website at GA4GH.org, and we haven't tested the link, but it's open.
Yeah, not the form yet. Later today.
Okay, form later today. It must be today, Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so questions. We'll both take questions.
And it can be about this process or other things. Yeah.
A comment rather than a question. But would you guys like to comment in terms of national initiatives and countries? There is also the potential from a partnership perspective rather than as a driver project. So it'd be good to make that clarification.
Yes, so in the form, we will, there is this business of being able to indicate that you're interested in participating, but as a collaborative project. And I think a special class of collaborative project will be other national initiatives that do want to participate, but don't want to make engineering commitment to this. And I think we will likely formalize the grouping of national initiatives inside of this, especially if that gets quite big, just for sheer practicalities of handling that. There are, I can't remember, 140 something or other, countries in the UN, something like that. And they all should have a national initiative at some point, or they all should have genomic medicine inside of their healthcare, let me put it that way.
And I think another really useful point there in terms of this process is identifying the points of contact in each of those countries so we can keep everyone informed.
Yes, exactly, absolutely. And that goes to our standards being more mature, and therefore we expect quite a few people not to create standards, but rather deploy, use, and the maintenance of standards going forwards. So we believe there's going to be a bigger community in that bucket than in the creating de novo standard scenario.
Yes, so we've tracked 120 plus genomic data sharing initiatives around the world on that. It's not quite clear on that map. So we really want these, let's say these 20 moving forward, to be a really good representation of the 120 and be conduits to, if we can shape it right, it won't be just for those driver projects, it'll for the benefit of all. Yeah.
Are you looking for regions that are underrepresented on the map that you showed earlier?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the target area.
That is the target area. Cool. If you're not blue, but you are green, we're particularly interested.
Okay.
Okay.
If anybody's got questions, either of us or any member of executive or the staff team, please catch us on breaks and just ask those questions that you don't want to ask right now.
Right. Okay.